Hi, I'm Debbie Harbeck, and I'm a certified life coach working with women in midlife and through the menopause transition. So each week, I'll be sharing the latest information, inspiration, and generate some momentum so you can move forward and feel more in control of your changing midlife body and your life. Let's go. Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. So I wanted to talk today about a book that I actually read about 25 years ago. I think it's a classic. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's based on the wisdom of the Toltecs who ruled Mexico before the Aztecs. And they passed this wisdom down on through the generations. And it really impacted me when I read this very simple book. It's not a big book. It's a very simple book, but it's very powerful. And in particular, the second agreement of the four, which is don't take anything personally. When I learned about this agreement, that was huge. And I've referred so many of my clients to read this book, my friends, my family members, especially that particular agreement, because it's the first time that I learned that what others say to you, good or bad, so I'm not just talking about the bad, I'm talking about the good too. It's never really about you. It's always about them. It's a big learning. And ever since then, when I get praise or when I get insults, I know inside me that it's about them. It comes from how they're feeling in the moment, from their perception of themselves or their own beliefs. And it actually has nothing to do with me personally. And when you know this, and when you not only know it, but you believe it, the drama that is in your life, it can decrease significantly. What starts happening is that you don't take that comment in. You know, that comment from someone you love, a lot of the time it's from someone you love, and they say you're not doing enough or you're so stupid. You just don't take that in. You don't make it true about yourself. I'm not going to say that it doesn't hurt in the moment, that it doesn't sting, but what you don't do is you don't make it about you. And instead, what you do is you have this kind of internal gate so that when these messages come inside, you recognize them as coming from somebody else's own hurt, from their own wounds, and you don't have to take these messages on as your own wounds. So I find that a lot of us as women, especially as mothers, we take in what our children say, we take in what our siblings say, what our parents say, and we make them true. And that can send us for sure into a negative spiral or into anger or frustration or hurt. And in turn, that has us saying things we didn't want to say. How many times have you been in that situation where you've lashed out at somebody because of something they said that you probably knew wasn't true, but you took it personally? This is where we get stuck. We believe not only the voices that are talking outside of us, but also the voices inside of us, and we make these things true. And in order not to believe them, we need to do the work of knowing who we are and of learning to love ourselves. And I know that can sound a little cringy to some of us. I still find it hard to say that term, self-love. I know it's because I definitely didn't grow up that thinking that loving myself was okay. In fact, I think I thought of it as some kind of sin, that it was something so self-indulgent and that it would make me vain or selfish to even consider loving myself. But having decided years ago to feed my brain books like The Four Agreements, I've learned that loving myself, loving who I am no matter what I do, has me loving on those around me a whole lot more. It has me creating boundaries. It has me exercising daily. It has me eating more healthy foods and going to bed when I'm tired. And all that makes me an infinitely better person. I'm more capable of taking care of those around me when I take care and love myself. So it causes me to almost never experience resentment. And of course, it helps me feel a whole lot more in control of my life. And if you're an entrepreneur, I want to say this adds another layer to that because I think not taking anything personally is essential because you will always encounter clients or customers who will blame you, who will shame you, who will spew negativity your way. And that's really hard. It's really hard not to let that kind of criticism in. And I just had this experience with my daughter, who is an entrepreneur. And she has a big client of hers decided to take out his frustrations and anger out on her, trying to make her believe that the problems in his business was her fault. And I'm so proud that through the tears, while he was saying all these things to her, these poisonous words, she told him she didn't deserve to be talked to that way. And knowing what I've learned about not taking anything personally, I talked to her about it afterwards because she was really upset, and just trying to reinforce that all those words he said have nothing to do with her. And in fact, they had to do with him. He was a grown man having a tantrum and blaming a 23-year-old for making him unhappy. This kind of thing goes on unchecked all the time. We make others' problems our problems, and that derails us from any good we're trying to do for ourselves. I've seen so often how words from our children, who might expect us to drop everything to help them out, can cause us to drop our own plans of taking care of ourselves, of going for the swim, of doing the workout, or going out on a date. And those words from childhood, from our own childhood, from our parents and teachers who didn't really understand what they were saying, they're still haunting us today in our 40s and our 50s and 60s. They're still making us believe that we're not good enough, that we're lazy, that we're fat, that we're screw-ups, that will never amount to anything. Not taking anything personally means not believing that old inner voice that's been hanging around absolutely rent-free in our brains for years. That voice was put there without our permission. You now have permission to build a new voice with messages that you choose, and you can talk back to that old voice that no longer serves you and probably never did. So years ago, I gave away my copy of the 4 agreements to somebody I cared about. And last week, I finally got myself a new one. And it's so refreshing to read these words again. 25 years later, they still resonate. They're still relevant. And if you find that you are taking things personally, and you'll know that's the case, if you've got a lot of drama in your life or you're feeling a lot of negativity or finding yourself in these negative spirals, then I invite you to take a moment to notice. I want you to write stuff down, stuff that you notice that you might be taking on from others, their opinions of you, their opinions of your work, of your parenting, and you're making those opinions true. Once you see these things on paper, to each one of them, I want you to say that this opinion has nothing to do with me. It has to do with them. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get some deserved critical feedback, but that should only come when you solicit that feedback with your permission and from someone who truly knows you or your work. So often, my clients are looking to feel calmer. They want to feel more in control of their emotions. This doesn't happen by repressing them. It just means being able to choose how you express them. And this is truly the way. No matter what anyone says or does to you, be it your children, your parents, your partner, your colleagues, your boss, I don't care. Don't take it in as the truth. It's okay to sit with it and question it, but it's not okay to make their words define you. And to do that, you need to know and define, and dare I say it, you need to love yourself. You need to know who you are. From there, you will remain calm. You will remain steady because you'll know the truth about yourself. I hope this episode has been helpful to you. I know that learning this has helped me through some really tough times in my own life. Sometimes where people could be very critical, like when I left my job or like when I went through divorce. People have their own opinions about everything, but I learned not to make them my opinions and not to bring me down. So now that we are all in midlife, I think we should all operate from this place of being good within ourselves, no matter what anyone else has to say, and without the need to make them feel bad or wrong in return. So if you want to talk more about this with me, I invite you to please reach out. I can definitely help you build a stronger relationship with yourself. It is so needed. It's so time for that right now. If you haven't done it yet, if you're not taking care or in love with yourself yet, I just invite you to have a conversation with me. In the meantime, I just want you to keep moving forward, and bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Midlife Momentum Podcast. If you want to learn more about working with me, come visit me at debbieharbeckcoaching.com. That's Debbie, I-E, Harbeck with a C, coaching.com. See you next week.